reaching the end of corn planting, and now our first look at this year's crop. The most recent USDA crop progress report gives us our first conditions of this growing year. Corn is 95% planted, 76% emerged. As for conditions, 68% of corn rates good, 20% fair, 8% excellent. 76% of soybeans are in the ground, that's right around average, and 35% of soybeans have emerged. And we continue to see a mixed bag with winter wheat, most now rates fair. And this could be a historic replanting year. According to research from the University of Nebraska, both corn and soybean planting is a little behind schedule, and the seeds that have already been planted are at risk. That's due to the significant amount of rain Nebraska had over the last couple of weeks. Researchers also say other areas of the U.S., along with Nebraska, may suffer from massive replanting efforts. Extension educators advise growers to make sure they don't plant too shallow and to make sure parts of the field are not still flooded. Nebraska Extension offers tractor safety courses. Students are eager to learn this summer. They're ready to help their families on the farm. A Department of Labor regulation says if a 14 or 15-year-old wants to operate a tractor on someone else's farm other than their families, they need to take this class.
We see people facing the wrong direction, not holding on as they're getting on and off, so slips and falls just from the beginning. Also not shutting the tractor off when they get on and off of it, which gives it the chance to run away.
One girl wants to prove something to kids her age, that this was her decision to sign up for the class, and she wants to break stereotypes.
Oh, you're a girl, you're not gonna be good at it, and I just want to shock people. It's like, yeah, I can do that.
Students learning about safety and health on a tractor, protective clothing to wear while you're working on the farm or ranch, but the core of the course is machinery safety, learning how to safely stop and start a tractor. Every farmer wants to get the most for their corn and beans, and a new app could help. Nebraska Extension has released the free Grain Marketing Plan app. It's for iPhone and iPad and works with corn, soybeans, and winter wheat. It can help farmers customize pre- or post-harvest marketing plans and will send an alert once a decision trigger has been met. Triggers can be set up based on target time or futures price. And with rapidly changing prices, there are limited opportunities for farmers to price grain above break-even prices. This app can alert farmers when futures prices have hit their estimated break-even point. This year's Cattlemen's Ball is history, but not before raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for cancer research. NTV's Valerie Juarez was there and has more.
We go wherever it's at.
And travel the state.
Janie Gustavin and Lana Broderson are two cancer survivors and best friends who travel near and far each year to attend the Cattlemen's Ball.
We both go through Nebraska Medicine, UNMC, and Dr. Cowan, like she said, is our oncologist, so it's a great fundraiser. So hopefully someday we'll find a cure.
Janie has been battling cancer for about 10 years now. Meanwhile, Lana has been cancer-free for 2 years. They say they're constantly encouraging one another to remain positive throughout their journey.
Oh, you can't go it alone. It's amazing what these people do for us.
Friends and family, you have to have support. You can't do it yourself.
Janie and Lana say they are grateful for the folks who travel each year to support the cause of the event, which is to raise awareness and money for cancer research.
Everybody's efforts, it's tremendous. All these people are here for one reason.
Yes, and all their donations, their time, their effort. So hopefully with more research, we'll find a cure.
Governor Ricketts was one of thousands in attendance in support for the cause.
It's really Nebraskans helping Nebraskans to be able to cure cancer.
The governor continued to say that everyone has been touched by cancer in one way or another.
Well, one of the reasons why thousands of people come to the Cattlemen's Ball is because so many people's lives are touched by cancer. Even if we haven't specifically had it ourselves, we know somebody who has had cancer.
Congressman Don Bacon, who was also in attendance, says this has personally affected his family's life.
Yes, I lost my 39-year-old sister back in 2006 from breast cancer. It was the most crushing thing that's ever happened to our family. She was 38, had a 1-year-old daughter, and they thought there was a lump, and they thought it was from breastfeeding. 10 months later, she was dead. And she was my best friend growing up, introduced me to my wife, and so tonight I was thinking of her the entire time.
But at the end of the day, the event was to raise money in order to help save lives and also make a difference for folks currently battling cancer like Janie.
More from Cattlemen's Ball later in the show. Now to the brand committee under fire for a new reason. A nonprofit representing ranchers and feedlots has asked a federal judge to rule the Nebraska Livestock Brand Act unconstitutional and prevent the state from enforcing it. The Nebraska Beef Producers Committee filed a lawsuit against the state's brand committee in U.S. District Court Tuesday. The brand committee records ranchers' brands, inspects cattle to verify ownership, and investigates missing livestock and cattle rustling. Last year, you may recall, the state published an audit critical of the committee's record keeping, but this seems to be a new dispute. And that leads to this week's poll question. We want to know what you would like to see for the future of the Nebraska Brand Committee. Leave it as it is, or even expand it statewide, or eliminate it. Follow us on Twitter and cast your votes. Meanwhile, the legislature adjourns before acting on property taxes. Now there's talk of a ballot issue to allow Nebraskans to vote on property tax relief. That's the subject of this week's Twitter poll, and by an overwhelming majority, you say you would sign petitions to get that on the ballot. Livestock show and rodeo managers concerned about animal welfare as they plan their shows. They recently came from all over the country to tour the Nebraska State Fairgrounds at Fauner Park as part of their convention. For many, it was their first visit to what's considered one of the premier facilities of its kind in the country. For others,
been well
a return
blessed.
trip to barns,
We'd all love to have just one of those facilities, let alone having all of them. But what a great message you're doing with Raising Nebraska. That was the first time I'd got to see that facility.
A big focus for those who run livestock shows is how to reach urban audiences, and they were definitely impressed with Raising Nebraska. We'll have more in a couple of weeks right here on Grow. And a Merritt County man will be sentenced on charges of neglecting horses. According to court records, Tommy Leach reached a plea deal. According to law enforcement, the horses were owned by the 35-year-old. They say there were numerous reports of horses being malnourished and underweight. Last May, 5 horses seized after authorities determined they were dealing with life-threatening conditions. Part of the deal states Leach cannot own an animal for at least 5 years, sentencing set for July 12th. Bees are important pollinators, and some working to get populations up. NTV's Jessica Stevenson has more.
Major decline of bees in the United States and the world.
Local experts say bees are being hurt by humans.
Their habitat is endangered because of herbicides, pesticides, and of course the types of crops that we grow are creating what are called green deserts. So there may be a lot of crops here, but they're not necessarily the types that our pollinators can make use of.
That's why Central Community College in Grand Island is making an effort to save them through education.
It starts out with equipment and of course the varieties of the bees and then tending the bees, disease and insects. There are mites.
According to the college, they are the only campus in the state with a living laboratory. This helps with pollinator survival and gives students hands-on opportunities, like seeing this bee swarm up close.
There was such a number of individuals in that hive that they had to split themselves in order to survive.
Students are in that hive every month, and they help with the extraction of the honey at the end of the year. It's an exciting time.
And all these efforts are not going unrecognized. The college has recently become a certified Bee Campus USA affiliate.
Bee certification came as a result of our classes that are here on campus. We have a beautiful campus, so we knew we had the flowers covered. We want to make sure that we don't have pesticides that harm the bees, so we're very careful about that. And of course, we have the education piece, which was natural. I'm pretty proud of this program. I think it's very exciting.
If you're interested in helping to increase the pollinator population, simply visit nebraska.tv, where we'll give you the information.
Nebraska Democrats challenging Congressman Adrian Smith over a key provision in the Farm Bill. It comes less than a week after Smith was interviewed on NPR about cuts to the food stamp program in President Trump's budget proposal. The interviewer asked Smith if every American is entitled to eat. He stopped short of agreeing, thus Jane Klebb's challenge for Smith to eat on roughly $1 per meal. Congressman Smith has responded to the challenge saying, quote, "Simply putting more and more people on food stamps is not a long-term solution. Rather than taking the food stamp challenge, we need to be taking a closer look at the current program to determine how we can best assist those who need it, while also ensuring we do not incentivize Americans to depend on the government indefinitely." End quote. Later, we head back to the ranch hosting this year's Cattlemen's Ball. Up next, rural entrepreneurs compete for cash.